What is going on? You are listening to TAGSPodcast, aka Talk About Gay Sex Podcast, celebrating 6 years of podcasting. I am the creator, host, Steve V. This is episode 520, alongside Jeremy Ross Lopez. How you doing, Jeremy?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Doing great over here in California. I just migrated from PV to California before I head back to New York after Thanksgiving. More on that later. But of course, joining us always is Kodi, Maurice, Doggette. How the hell you doing, Kodi?
Hello, darling. I'm doing wonderful. So good to be with you, beauties, tonight.
Yes, exactly. On this week, a 3-day week for most people, Thanksgiving here in America is celebrated this Thursday. Little programming note that we will not be doing Tags Live this Wednesday, sadly, because the show drops the next day, Thursday. Kodi really wanted the day off, and
Yeah,
but
blame
no.
me. It's all my
Exactly.
fault.
Yeah. Well, we just really feel that most people will not be listening to the podcast when it drops on Thursday because they'll be stuffing their face like I will be with a lot of turkey. So with that said, we have the week off, but we're back the following week, and we've got a special guest. Jet of Jet's Adventures will be joining us. So super excited to have him come on the show. So stay tuned for that. Okay, we've got to get into hot topics. We've got a full show of hot topics, though, because we got to make up for the last day of the week that we won't be recording. And congratulations to Troye Sivan, who is officially a first-time Grammy nominee. This is really cool because we've been talking about him all year long with the kickoff single Rush, the music video, and so forth. He's 28, Australian. He got 2 Grammy nominations, one for the song Rush in the Best Pop Dance Recording, as well Rush for Best Music Video. Well, at least in the song category, Best Pop Dance, he'll be competing against Baby Don't Hurt Me by David Guetta, Anne-Marie, and Coi Leray. Did I say that right, Kodi?
I believe so. I have never heard these words before. I'm like, is this French? I don't know what's going
Well,
on.
you're our music guru. Miracle.
Oh, thank you.
Miracle by Calvin Harris featuring Ellie Goulding. Another favorite, Padam Padam by Kylie Minogue, and One in a Million by Bibi Rexha and David Guetta. So, this is really exciting because Something to Give Each Other, his album, dropped I think earlier this fall, and I really like the album. I think this is really big we keep talking about LGBTQ artists showing up in pop, and this is really exciting. Have you given the album a listen, Jeremy, and what are your thoughts on him being nominated?
I love it, and I think it's awesome. I've just recently become a fan and started listening to the newest album, and I love the visuals and his music videos, and he's great and well deserved.
Absolutely. And Kodi, in Best Music Video category, he'll be nominated for Rush. He'll be up against the Beatles for, believe it or not, the Beatles have a new song.
Beatles?
Yeah, it's using a little bit of AI. And if the song was nominated, I would have been a little upset because I don't think that's fair. It's actually the music video for the Beatles' new song, I'm Only Sleeping. However, they'll be against Billie Eilish for What Was I Made For from the Barbie soundtrack.
Such a good song, yes.
Okay, do you like the music video? Because that's what they're nominating it for.
I have to watch the music video now. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm sure it's great.
Kendrick Lamar for Count Me Out. And Tyler Childers for his music video for In Your Love. Now, a little note about that one. In Your Love, first of all, Tyler isn't gay himself, but in the music video, he features Colton Haynes and James Scully, and they're featured as 2 coal miners in 1950s Appalachia. It's a total beautiful love story, and with coal mining, one of them falls prey to getting sick, and I watched the music video before we started recording. It is really beautiful. It's got a country twang to it-ish, and I actually liked it. I mean, what's going on with me? First Dixon Dallas, now Tyler, but it's also in response to the industry at large, and I'm talking about the country music industry, that hasn't always shown its support for LGBTQ issues or maybe race issues. And so this, I think, I really commend Tyler. The music video is great. So, but of course, I really want Rush to win because I just think what an iconic summer anthem. People were doing that Rush dance where you link your arms up on TikTok all over the place. I know we all saw it. So I'm really rooting for him. Kodi, do you like Rush? Are you a Troy fan?
Love Rush, love Troy. I'm so happy for him. I watched the video of him finding out about his Grammy nominations, and
Oh,
he was just so ecstatic, and I couldn't be happier for him. It's very well deserved. His music is amazing.
and not for nothing, being Grammy nominated is a huge deal. So,
Yeah.
that's it. It really is, I think. Of course, he wants to win, and I hope he wins one of the two or both. But yes, I mean, good for you, Troy. We're rooting for you for the upcoming Grammys. Okay, well, we saved this topic for Jeremy because Jeremy's our fashion guru on the tags, and we had to talk about Balenciaga, who has been slammed for a $925 towel skirt. You heard me right, towel skirt. And people were really wondering if it's real or not. If you look at the picture, I will post this on TAGSPodcast.com. The price is a whopping $925. It really does look like you put a gray towel and just tucked it and let it go and walked out the door. They styled it with some baggier pants below, wide-legged, and a fitted black hoodie. I mean, Jeremy, what can you say about this?
I mean, it's definitely a waste of money, and it looks asinine
Oh,
and
thank God.
ridiculous. I am not.
Don't
I
hold
love
back.
kilts. I love skirts, but this is just not cute, and it's literally a terry cloth shower towel.
Yeah, I mean, I think the creator was even defending it recently on an article as if like people were really going to take this seriously. Do you think there's a market for people that will or that will actually buy and wear this? Or is this Balenciaga just ha 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 at the joke's on you?
Yeah, I
Jeremy?
think the joke's on the buyers, and looks ridiculous. And you are
Yeah.
paying $925 for a cotton towel.
No.
It literally
Oh,
says terry cotton, which means that there's no worth to the fabric that's being used either.
What?
exactly. It's pathetic in my
Like
mind.
it's
And
literally 100% cotton, and it looks ridiculous on the model with this hoodie.
I know, trying to make it look all serious and all. I
Like
mean,
so cool with sunglasses and stuff. It's just I don't know. They have been a big miss in my book lately.
yeah, I definitely thought anybody could create this. If you just, it'll be a great Halloween costume, and just do this next year. But if you're gay, don't wear anything underneath, like you're going to the bathhouse, but put Balenciaga all over your body, which I think could be kind of fun. It's like a wink and a nod to that, and then you can flash everybody all day because it could be a wink and a nod to the bathhouse scene too. And there's your costume, people. You're welcome. You are welcome. I think I changed my costume, Kodi. We were going with something else for me for next
Mm-hmm.
year. I was going to give
This is
yours
it.
away. Who was I going to be? Who was I
I
going to be?
forgot already.
I
I
know,
forgot
but
already.
this
We'll,
is going
we'll
to be
remember
better.
before
Yeah.
next year. But this is good. This is really, really good.
What are your
I'm glad
thoughts?
I'm glad Jeremy went first though, because if he would have said that this is the way to go, I was gonna have to change my opinion because I don't know.
Oh no,
I
I
was
got my
like,
answer earlier. I was pretty sure he was going to go that direction, but in the event he wasn't, I was going to be like, skip it. Let's do
but
this
yeah,
another day.
this is ridiculous. He looks like the Unabomber in the pictures that I'm looking at, and it's just completely insane. He's got a towel. It's just crazy, and you know what? I could go in here, like Jeremy said, and get a towel and wrap it around myself and call it Balenciaga and be the most fashionable person on the street. I don't know what is going on here, but I mean, if they could sell it, more power to them, right?
And can you imagine your trick spending the night and then trying to take a shower after hot sex, and then you see this towel, you're like, oh, there's a towel, and you grab it and you totally dry yourself off with it and totally ruin the whole look of it. And it's like, not my $925 Balenciaga skirt. You just fucked it up. I
or
mean,
or you wipe
yeah.
up cum with it.
Yeah, like a cum rag. I was gonna say that a cum rag that's
Or the
$925.
or the cleaning lady mistakes it for the bunch of other towels over there that are dirty and throws it in the wash and ruins it.
Oh
And
my
now
god.
now it really is just a towel. Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Well, let's stay on fashion. And now we're talking Tom Ford, who is retired, actually. He was in a recent GQ interview. Have you seen his house, Jeremy, in Palm Beach, Florida?
Yes, it's
It's
insanely beautiful.
it's crazy. He's living, people hate that saying, but he really, I think, is living his best life right now in Palm Beach, Florida. And he's raising his 11-year-old son. And apparently he's writing a new movie, which takes time. So good for him. But in he was telling and he sold his namesake to fashion house Estee Lauder for 2.8 billion in 2022. So he's sitting pretty. He was in a recent GQ interview for the magazine, and he was talking about underwear, when he designed underwear, how he tried to design it. Quote, when I was cutting the underwear for Tom Ford men's, I put every pair on. Ooh, I'd like to wear his pair. And if you cut
Mm.
the thighs tight, but you leave a little extra fabric in the middle, you'll have a bigger dick, he told GQ.
Oh.
Quote, and I'm sorry, when you're walking around in your underwear, you want to look like you're well endowed, even if you're not. He added, I mean, no matter who you are, you want a bigger dick. Probably people with dicks like this want a bigger dick. And I'm with him. I have a couple pairs that accentuate that out sometimes. And sometimes I'm like, it's too much, I think. But I do get that common theme. And he's gay. So I'm glad that he designed underwear that way. Jeremy, what do you think about the way he designed underwear that's flattering and doesn't? Because we used to know somebody that designed certain leather goods, and oftentimes we both felt like it flattened out that package area.
Yeah, I think he sounds like obviously he knows exactly what he's doing, and he's always been one to like push the envelope and add like a sexual spin on just clothing in general. He's a very sexy designer, and I think he knows the male physique well. So, I mean, he knows how to complement it, and I think everything he does is excellent.
Me too. I mean, Cody, it makes sense too, because I'm sure if you're like me, you wear things that are flattering to you. You wear things that make your assets, the things that you find about
Mhm.
yourself, flattering. You want to often push them out. I mean, we were on Tags Live the other day on our pre-show, and Cody's plunging neckline. I could see you looking at yourself, getting it even deeper in the cut line, but you have a beautiful chest,
Look,
and I could
look.
see, yeah.
You gotta show the goods. You gotta use what you got to get what you want at the end of the day. And I'm glad that he is making these underwear to accentuate that area, because even if you don't necessarily want a bigger dick, because there can be issues as far as sex are concerned, you want to look like you have a bigger dick. So I'm happy about this, and I want him to design all my underwear because I think that this is amazing.
Yeah, and for somebody that just was cheaping out the other day, okay, myself, I did buy a pair of 12-pack underwears on Amazon, and they were stretched out. They weren't making any part of my body look
Oh
flattering.
my god.
I know, sometimes you do have to spend a little bit more to accentuate the package. So yeah,
Mm.
I'm not going to wear those on a date for sure. Okay. Well, the jig is up, y'all. George Santos is not going to be running for office anymore. Can you believe it? I mean, the
Yes.
month-long House Ethics Committee report investigating criminal activity by New York GOP Congressman George Santos, both before and after he was elected, was finally released. And in the report, the bipartisan committee revealed that Santos illegally used money from Republican campaign donors to pay for, get this, luxury apparel from Hermes. a Las Vegas, which, by the way, if you watch SNL, uh, Bowen Yang did an amazing, I will post this on TAGSPodcast.com, interpretation of this. And when the host said, "What are you buying from Hermes?" And he goes, "This sweater." And he's like, "That's what you bought from Hermes?" I mean, it looks like any old sweater that you could get at Banana Republic or anywhere else, but it's Hermes. Well, okay. So, and he always loves to wear those. He bought things like a Las Vegas vacation, Botox even, and he's only in his 30s, beauty products from Sephora, and gay pornography from adult website OnlyFans. Yep, you guessed it. And it's unanimous. He will not. Of course, he's denying everything and saying that it's a witch hunt like somebody else we know does. But one section of the report detailed Santos' use of $50,000 from two Republican donors to pay off his personal credit card bills, made a $4,000 purchase to Hermes, and so on and so forth. So they went in with the details, Kodi, on what he spent it on. I mean, when you're getting down to OnlyFans, and I don't know that I'd want anybody to do a deep dive on my spending habits, although thank goodness we work for ourselves and we have a sex podcast, so we don't really have anything to hide. But the jig is up for Katara. What do you have to say, Kodi?
Girl, Katara, she's got to take it back to the street. She's going back into the bar. She's got to twirl for her bucks because I don't know what she's going to do. She can't run for office again. I hope to never actually see George Santos running for any office ever again in my entire life, because what he has done for our community, and he's taken us back, I think, a couple steps, honestly. And the use of funds in this manner is unconscionable, because I do not think that anybody who can misappropriate the funds like this, that some donors are giving to him to use for his campaign and to use ethically, I just think it's really horrible. And you have to be the type of person that would lie and steal and do so many disgusting things. So I don't want to see him ever again.
Yeah, hopefully it's the last of them. Somehow I feel like it won't be the last we see of him. Jeremy, it's really interesting because I remember when you and I went to vote for one of the last elections, not the last one, but before that. And it was when Hillary was up. And you were really excited because you hadn't really voted before. And you kind of were getting into politics here. When you hear things like George Santos, who is gay, but is a Republican, which is fine. Everybody can be who they want to be. But then using funds inappropriately, what does it make you think about the political process?
Well, it's ridiculous, and I just think that they need a better way of filtering out these people. But it's just, I don't understand either how they never have good options. I feel like for the past, I don't know, since Obama, in my opinion,
Right.
there hasn't been anyone good, and the options suck every time.
Right.
Yep.
And you're like, one's not great, but it's better than the other one, and it sucks to vote like that and to factor in the pros and cons. They usually still suck.
Yeah. I mean, 100% agree with you. And it makes you not want to get involved at all. I have to tell you, being 3 weeks away from America in Puerto Vallarta, which isn't that far from America, but I didn't get a lot of news. I certainly didn't watch a lot of news. And it was so refreshing to be 3 weeks away. I do find myself in a rabbit hole at times watching CNN, and I got to stop it because it's just what's going on in America is awful in any way you look at it. And so this was good news, though, I think. And talk about draining the swamp. This is a good thing. And
ooh, I love that saying.
Okay, yeah.
Because he is the pond scum, honey.
Oh, my God. And, we're not afraid to call out when they're even in our own acronym. So
right.
it's like, Well, we also saved this topic for you, upcoming topic, Jeremy, because we needed to get your take. There's a little bit of newness. So if you're a listener and you heard us talk about Chris Appleton and Lukas Gage filing for divorce, it was actually Chris Appleton that filed for divorce from Lukas Gage. And he called it quits on his marriage many of us were all bummed. TMZ reported on it. They filed for divorce earlier, citing irreconcilable differences. It feels like just they were celebrating earlier this year. Of course, they wed in Las Vegas in a chapel in April with Kim Kardashian and Shania Twain in attendance. I believe Kim even officiated the wedding, as we reported recently. But their whirlwind romance didn't last but a measly 6 months. And now it looks like it's not really, it looks like it's going to get a little bit messy too, because the Kardashians did an episode recently. Of course, they saved it because once they heard this and they released it, where Kim is advising her friend Chris Appleton that he needs a prenup. And so it's just getting kind of messy. Both of them have, Lukas Gage recently had a film that he was promoting, or a TV show, I think, that he's going to be appearing in, and he made the red carpet. But when you heard this, Jeremy, what did you think? Because, they seem to be the whirlwind romance that we were all rooting for.
I think they're just both sexy, and that's what was exciting, but I did not see it lasting long, and I also just think that they rushed into it. I mean, I don't even know how long they knew each other, but I thought it was kind of like doomed from day one, and I actually just watched that episode, and it's a little bit corny of
Oh,
the
really?
Shania Twain like singing that uh romance song to them.
Oh,
I mean, she's
God.
cool,
Still
but
the
it's
one
just like,
or
I don't know, it
something?
was just, yeah, still the one.
Oh, ugh.
And I don't know, the whole thing was just like a little
Kodi, I hear
cheesy and
you.
corny, but they're definitely both sexy. I kind of knew that it wasn't gonna last.
Well, Kodi, in
And
April,
6 months.
I know. Well, it was just back in April, Kodi, that Lukas was saying effusively about his partner. He told People, "You're going to find the perfect person when you're least expecting it, because I was very single for a long time and never thought I would have that happen. And it does. It's going to happen." Kodi, he's 28. I mean, how long was he you know what I mean? Like,
I know, right? It's
no.
been 5 minutes. You've been looking for a husband for 5 minutes. Girl, wait till you're 44 like me, okay?
Right?
Bleep out my age when you post this.
Oh, no. This is our live recorded episode. What do you have
I
to
mean,
say?
34. Yeah, I agree with Jeremy, and I'm so happy. Like, I was over here giggling because he's so right. This is such a whirlwind romance. They did not, I don't feel like they put any thought into the longevity of their relationship, unfortunately. And it's kind of sad because love that it doesn't last, or that when it's finished, when it's over, love, I think that it's really sad, and it makes me wonder what is next for them, as far as you know what, it's a learning experience for them,
Yeah,
basically. So
right.
that is how we should be looking at it. And like Jeremy said, they are both very sexy. I'm sure that when their hearts heal, that they will have no issues going out there and getting someone else to date and marry. And I hope they put some time and effort and thought into it next time. And I'm glad they got that prenup, because Kim was 100% right.
Okay, yeah, exactly. Wow. We were talking about divorces recently. There's a new film coming out that I really want to see. It's interesting because it stars Billy Porter, who is going through his own divorce right now, but it also stars Luke Evans, who's very sexy. The movie's called Our Son, and it's about a couple that's going through divorce, but they also are struggling through a custody battle as well. It looks super intense. My sister actually saw a pre-screening of it and said it's amazing. So we got to look out for that movie. It's supposed to come out December 15th on VOD, but in selected theaters on December 8th. Our Son, Billy Porter, and Luke Evans. A lot of Lukes out there. But yeah, check that out. Okay, well, moving on to another series of actors here. Fellow Travelers, which is currently out right now, just launched, and it is on Paramount Plus, although it's Showtime. I hope it's on Showtime because I have Showtime, but I don't have Paramount Plus. But Fellow Travelers is now streaming on Paramount Plus. And apparently, it's already one of the sexiest shows of the year. In the first episode, we meet Hawkins Fuller, played by who I love, and I interviewed him once before, Matt Balmer. Really love him. A pragmatic and detached Washington insider who has put his career ahead of his personal desires. He then meets the young and optimistic Tim Laughlin, played by Jonathan Bailey, who changes his ideas of what's important and how he wants to live his life. Well, the series debuted last week and already has a lot of buzz because there's a sex scene that has the internet buzzing. In the scene, Tim comes up to Hawk at his apartment, asking the older man, Matt Balmer, if he can be his +1 to an exclusive DC party. Well, at first, Fuller's reluctant. It's a Washington, D.C. party, and there are two single men. But soon, Tim is sitting in Hawk's lap and starts seducing him. When Tim starts to put on Hawk's boxers, he pushes him down, saying, "Not yet," and calling him his boy. He then pushes him down with his foot, guiding Tim to pull off his sock and seductively suck on his foot. Well, as somebody that has a foot fetish over here, I definitely want to see this. But the little backstory that was funny, and I also love power play as well, and we'll talk about that in a second. But the little funny backstory was Matt Balmer stubbed his toe earlier in the when they were going to film this, and it was like bruised up, and he's like, I can't show this on camera. So they decided to use the other toe, and but I guess because it's TV and they're actors, they had to do the scene multiple times, and they had to keep washing his foot every single time because it's not like they're totally into this, but they had to act like they were. And I thought that was hilarious. But it does bring up power play and when that is appropriate. And I recently was with a partner having that kind of power play dynamic. He was even younger than me. And it can be really hot when you have those parameters and you both agree on it. Slapping, forcing the head, like to suck on that cock, gagging on it, if you both are in agreement with that, it's so hot to me, that power play. I mean, we went after and had like this lovely brunch with mimosas, and we're so romantic. That couldn't be more opposite of what we did, right? Of what we did, practically of what we did in the bedroom. But what do you guys think of that power play dynamic, Jeremy? When do you like that? What do you think of it? Do you like to watch it?
I like it. I think it's fun and it keeps it like interesting for sure.
Absolutely. And do you find yourself liking the more dominant side, the passive side, both, or do you even have a preference?
I can get into both. I think it just matters the dynamic with the person.
Yeah, good point. Dynamic is so important too because you can surprise yourself too. I've been on both
Hmm.
sides of the power play and I like both sides, but it's a chemical thing that goes on between two people. Kodi, what are your thoughts on the power play dynamic and keeping it when you're in that mode with the right person?
Oh, it's so hot. And this is not that scene that you just described is not the only power play scene in this show. It
Ooh.
happens so many times that I've seen. The show is so good. Teddy Alexis, our other co-host, he turned me on to the show, and I have to say it was probably the best decision that I've made. The sexiest decision that I've made is to watch this show because not only does it delve into power play and it's super super sexy, but it also, we talk a lot about the lost generation as far as gay men is concerned. So it kind of delves into that lost generation of gay men that we lost due to the AIDS epidemic. And it
Oh.
deals with black gay men, which we don't normally see a lot of in mainstream entertainment. And I just think that the show is fantastic. But really, really, really hot sex scenes. I don't want to ruin anything for anybody out there, so I don't want to get too descriptive. But I was like, is this porn? What am I watching here
Whoa.
right now?
You know what? It's
It is good,
And what
Steve.
platform is it on?
It's on Paramount Plus, but it's also on Showtime. I just Googled it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, perfect. Because I have Showtime, so yay, I can watch it on that. So definitely. And I do think we're at a time now, like we were talking about music, how we're seeing all these LGBTQ artists getting their roses, really putting out great material, getting Grammy nominated. It's time also, we are at a time, it's no longer just queer as folk. We have material actors out there. Matt Bomer's a great actor, and I believe the other one
So
is as
good.
well. And so they have really done, showed what great actors that they are. This sounds like a great story. And if the sexuality is right for, we've seen it forever, heteronormative sex scenes in TV and film, it makes sense that I don't think it was gratuitous, Kodi. You've seen it, and it works with what real life is between same-sex couples, I
It's
think.
authentic, and I don't think that it's gratuitous, but I mean, they get right on the edge of it being a little bit too much. I'm like, it was very, very hot.
Okay, well, this foot scene I need to watch, so, and the power play of it all. I am here for it,
I'll watch it again,
and
girl.
yeah, okay. Putting that on my list. Well, on tags, of course, we love to give solicited and unsolicited sex and relationship advice. And Bryce wrote into us. Bryce is a regular viewer of Tags Live on Wednesday nights, but he wrote into us and he had a conundrum that he wanted us to kind of weigh out here on the show. He wrote, "Hi, love. I have a question for the podcast. Why is it now popular to say that sexuality is on a spectrum, mainly when gay men are talking about straight men, believing that all men are a little bit gay? But when the coin is flipped, that is not the case if we tell people that we are a little bit straight, which obviously means bi. What is the rationale for talking about sexual spectrums if gay men are only interested in ba- uh, banging straight men and then not trying to be with cisgender women? An additional example would be to say that you can't hate something unless you have tried it. Still, it does not work the other way when we are asking gay men to sleep with cisgender women. And if that is even brought up in a conversation, there is the argument suggesting that it is conversion therapy. What do you guys think?" So, I mean, I hear what you're saying, Bryce, in the fact that I mean, I do think that sexuality is on a spectrum. I've said on this show before, I would think I was just telling I was watching this Spanish language show in Mexico last week, and this one woman, there's five women in this show, and one of them I kept saying to my sister and my mom, I'm like, oh my gosh. But I did say if I was straight, she would be my type of woman. Like, I was totally into this woman. I loved her body. I loved her acting. I loved her look. And I have girl crushes that speak of. Halle Berry is definitely one of my girl crushes. And I've had dreams too, where I'm with a woman, having sex with women too in my dreams. So maybe we are a little bit skewed, but I would also argue that at times we haven't had examples, almost like in the last story, of we've just been told for so long that you must like the opposite sex. And I just think we're reclaiming our period of now we're seeing things that it's okay to have one-on-one same sex in TV shows. And so maybe it is a little bit skewed, but I think it's because of our history. That's my answer to it. I don't know, Jeremy, what are your thoughts when you read this, and what do you say to Bryce?
I agree exactly with what you said, and I think that uh, testing the waters and just trying new things can always lead to uh, finding out something that you didn't know about yourself, or finding out something new, and I don't think it's pretty much like a case by case basis. I feel like it's very individual and personal, and I I think that nowadays we have kind of like blurred the lines of even bisexuality, and people are just dating a man and then dating a woman. And I think it, in certain areas where it's accepted and you're out of the closet, I think that nowadays it's just less labels and more just enjoying yourself.
I like that. Yeah. And as you were saying all this, the spectrum got me thinking, particularly what you were saying, is spectrum can also mean what you will do in bed. I think I've talked recently a lot about
Hmm.
switching from being a total bottom to being versatile, which I always was a bottom before, or at least put in that category, and I accepted it. But I have throughout the years, we were just talking about recently, right now, about power play, and I've that can be on the spectrum as well, trying new things that are still
Right,
within
and I
maybe.
think your position could be like in a way somewhat like you're used to being a dom top, but you could be uh more submissive and still be a top and let the
Yes.
bottom like take control. And I think that type of power play of like reversing the roles a little bit and the characteristics of what you would just assume versus what someone like may want to do or try makes it even more interesting.
And can also be on the spectrum. I mean, Kodi, we
Mhm.
got to get you to weigh in on this. What did you think
Yeah.
about what Bryce wrote and what he's talking about? Are we being hypocritical?
No, no, I think you guys hit the nail on the head. But I think that what happens is we as society and as human beings get so caught up with putting things in boxes like, oh, he's gay. Oh, this person is straight. Oh, this person is bisexual, that we forget that the spectrum is out there. And sexuality as a spectrum is not anything new. The Kinsey scale has been out since the 40s and 50s. And since then, we have learned that sexuality is a spectrum. I think more so gender as a spectrum is a relatively newer idea. So, but I think that sexuality has always been viewed, well, not always, has been viewed as on a spectrum for quite some time, but it's just easier for us to look at people and put them in a box and make sure that they are only that. And it's hard for people to look outside of that box. And like you guys were saying, I think that there is so much value from looking outside of your box, and your experiences could be that much better and more fulfilling if you try things that you aren't used to or you never thought that you could even like. So I totally agree with you guys. I think that that is probably part of the reason why so many gay men are so hung up on not, and like you guys said, I feel like because of our history and the fact that we have had to fight for our right to exist in this world, then that is another reason we push back so hard on, you know, people saying that we are attracted to women. I just said the other day, sometimes I wish I was straight. No, I don't wish I was straight, but I think that women are beautiful, and if I met the, no, I'm not gonna say that either. I don't know. Girls are beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's it.
And also with spectrum comes labels, but some of the labels actually describe, like he was saying, bisexuality, but there's pansexual, which we've talked about on the show before, which is slightly sometimes similar. They have a lot of overlap to them. We talk a lot about open relationships on this show, but then
Mhm.
there's polyamory, which we were talking about the other day, which is loving more than one person at one time, which is different but has overlap to open relationships. So I just think, yes, there's more labels, but the spectrum is growing. It's kind of a positive thing in many ways. You could always drop the labels if you want to. Love is love, but
Mhm.
I just think, yeah, I mean, and I do think we did a good job of saying why we think that it's because of our history as gay men, at least these three gay men here on this show. So
That's right.
hope that helps, Bryce. Write in back to us. You can always ask us to weigh in, give some sex or relationship advice. You can DM us. We'll give our personal handles at the end of the show, but you can also just go to tagspodcast.com and email us via the website, and we will cover it on an upcoming episode. Okay. Well, recently, the memes were going crazy on Twitter, or X, as they're calling it these days, with the new meme taking off on Twitter, actually trust men. So there's been a lot of trust men, and you fill in the blank. Popular trust men have been going about weddings, trust men to be the best anime, uh, trust men or have a fat ass. But the recent one had to do with hairy chests. The gays got a hold of it, and one of these memes stood out. The gay Peter Cola 7 said, trust men or have a hairy chest. And all of these guys who have hairy chests started to swarm the Twitter universe, and they're very sexy, I have to say, all the different pictures. And I love that. This is actually a good one. I do not have a hairy chest at all. I don't even think I can grow one hair, but I like my smooth chest, but I'm very attracted to both, smooth or not. But I do think I do think though, if you do have it, trim it up a bit. And I do like at least for my taste purposes. But Jeremy, do you like a hairy chest? And what do you think of this new meme? Trust men or have a hair or have a hairy chest?
I definitely like it trimmed and like upkeep. I don't mind a little bit of hair, but I'm definitely not into like super hairy in general.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Kodi, you have a hairy chest somewhat, right? A
I
little bit of
do.
hair on your chest, right?
Yeah, yeah, I
And
definitely do.
what do you think about this new meme going on? Trust men or have a hairy chest?
I would like to do both, but I don't know if that's possible. I love this. I think that body positivity in any form or fashion is just great, and I love a nice hairy. I love hair practically anywhere. The back is a little bit stretching it for me, but
Oh
I
yeah.
mean I can deal with it. But I love a hairy chest. I have a hairy chest, and I love to show it off. I like to have like gold in my hairy chest and have that whole swarthy look going on. So I think that this is a great meme, and I'm gonna look it up on Twitter as soon as I get off of the podcast tonight.
Yeah, I agree. Body positivity for sure. And we're all different. I remember a time in the 90s where a lick of hair on anyone's chest was, it was all smooth chest, chiseled chest, shave everything. And it's like everybody's not built that way. So I like to see a little variety of everybody. So this one is embracing the hairy chest of the moment right now. I'm here for it. But don't blame me if you don't see any hair on me, because I'm not about to stick some fake hair on my chest. And no, not happening. But okay. And lastly, here in America, it is Thanksgiving on Thursday. Well, Chef Alex Hall, who offers tips on how to make this Thanksgiving more bottom friendly than ever, well, he's done this before, where he's a self-proclaimed butt and gut recipe developer, body autonomy activist. He does raunchy videos. Um, he is the founder of the Bottoms Digest, an online resource for foodies who like to get penetrated. And I love this because when you do bottom, you are always thinking about this. And he is a huge um, proponent of psyllium husk, or you can also take things like I do, Pure for Men, Staying Ready. Dr. Goldstein, who we have on this show, has his version. Shout out to Future Method. You can get his version, which also helps keep you ready, which are essentially doing the same thing. They are bulking up, your poop, and then you're cleaner down there. But he was talking about, they were asking him, grilling him, and he said, if you really need to bottom, which I loved his idea, because to me, it's like, really, one day I would
Right.
not want to bottom on Thanksgiving. I'm sorry. It just wouldn't be my day to. But he does give some advice, things like cauliflower, broccoli, and Brussels sprouts, which you think would be so good for you, and they are, but they're cruciferous vegetables, and they can be the major culprit of making you feel gassy, which of course you don't want to feel that way if you're going to bottom. So maybe stay away from those things. He also said things like, know your trigger foods. Everybody has trigger foods that don't agree with you. So dairy, for me, also dairy or creamy foods. I don't really like creamy foods that much. So anything made with cream or milk, I don't just usually stay away from it, because they don't do me well. And so you need to know that if 30 to 60 minutes after eating or drinking, because your gastrocolic reflex is activated 30 to 60 minutes after eating or drinking, according to him. So, but if you eat trigger foods after douching, you're going to be too uncomfortable to bottom. So douching isn't going to do a thing to cure you of your gas and bloating. He has a few other tips. I'll post it on TAGSPodcast.com. But do you really want to have sex, Jeremy, on Thanksgiving?
No. No, it's not like my the first thing that I think about, and I also feel like it is the one holiday where you like get so stuffed that all you want to do is just like be a lump on the couch and rest and nap and then eat again. And I don't know, it's just like that one holiday where it's just the excuse to eat as much as you can, really.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like, little secret, not that big of a secret but if you don't live in America, the night before everybody has it off, and a lot of people like to go out. Of course, in New York, it falls on Jockstrap Wednesdays. So that, like, go have your fun the night before, get all that out of your system, literally,
Mm.
and then enjoy Thursday with the parade, just like Jeremy said, and eat all you want. That's my recommendation. Kodi, will you be having sex on Thanksgiving?
Probably in the wee mornings of the wee hours of the morning if I'm doing anything, but not
That's a
after I
top.
eat. I know, right? I don't even want to top after eating a full meal on Thanksgiving.
I know,
Who
that's
is
how I
eating?
feel. Like
I
it's
know.
just not a sexy time.
It is not a sexy holiday. It's not the 4th of July or gay pride or anything like that where you're feeling fit and fancy free and you want to get
Even Christmas
your
would be
max
better,
on.
right?
Well, I don't even know. I eat a lot on Christmas too. The
Yeah,
winter
that's
time is
true.
for packing on the pounds, I think. So,
Yeah.
but so yeah, I will not be having sex on Thanksgiving, unfortunately, or fortunately, I'll be having foods, and that is paramount. That's like sex almost, right?
Right. But I do love this social media influencer. I will post this on TAGSPodcast.com because he actually talks about your own gastronomical, digestion. He gives really good tips in general, diet tips for bottoming. And they were posing the question for Thanksgiving, but I agree with both of you. I will be feeding my face, and if I do have any fun, it'll be on Wednesday night, the night before. So, oh my gosh. Thanks so much for playing. One more programming note. Our brand new podcast, Of a Certain Age, will be dropping on Wednesday, though, with a brand new episode. Speaking of tips, it's with my former trainer, Alejandro Terrazas, and he's really going to be talking about fitness for the ages and really knowing your body and staying fit for life. Really great episode. You don't want to miss it. Of a Certain Age, OACA, OACA, as we like to call it. Episode number 5 drops wherever you get your podcasts. Jeremy will be an upcoming guest on our show, talking all things fashion for the ages,
Yes.
and super excited about that. Well, you can follow... and Kodi, aren't you excited about this upcoming episode of
I'm
OACA?
so excited. I love talking fitness with Alex. It was just enlightening, and so I learned so much. So I can't wait, and I can't wait for Jeremy to come on too. It's going to be so much
I
fun.
I
know.
know. Well, you can follow us on the gram. Follow Jeremy at J Ross Lopez at J Ross Lopez. Actually, you were at a recent, what festival were you at? Because you can see some of those pictures there.
So I went to Electric Daisy Carnival, it's called, and it's hosted in both Las Vegas and in Orlando. I went to the one in Orlando and I loved it, and I would recommend it to anyone that is like a house or dance lover. They had all different types of music at different stages, but Loud Luxury was definitely one of my favorites, and Steve Aoki.
Ooh, you guys
Ooh,
looked
Yeah.
it looked
fabulous
fun.
too.
So
Yeah.
it was a blast. There was a lot of hot guys and girls and just like fun, good vibes.
Follow him at
Nice.
J. Ross Lopez to see more on that. Follow Kodi. He's a life coach at KMD Coaching. KMD Coaching. Follow his personal account at Mr. Maurice. Mr. Maurice. Follow me. I am _Steve V on the gram. Go to TAGSPodcast.com for all show notes and much, much more. We'll be back with all new episodes next week, including Tags Live. But guys, in the meantime, continue having hot gay sex. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.